and welcome to the Music Business Buddy with me, Johnny Amos, podcasting out of Birmingham in England. I'm the author of the book, The Music Business for Music Creators. I'm a music creator myself. I'm a producer. I'm a consultant. I'm an artist manager and a senior lecturer in both music business and in music creation. Wherever you are and whatever you do, consider yourself welcome to this podcast and to a part of this community. My goal is simple. I'm here to try and educate and inspire music creators from all over the world in their quest to achieving their goals by gaining a greater understanding of the business of music. Okay, so in this week's episode, everybody, I am joined by a fascinating lady by the name of Tiangu Zhu, who is the owner and starter of a fantastically exciting company called SongPot. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about SongPot. I became aware of what Tiangu does because I'd heard about her and I looked her up on LinkedIn because I'm a bit of a LinkedIn stalker, right? In the most innocent of ways, right? Because I'm always looking for exciting people that I believe are adding value to the music industries. And Tiangu is most definitely one of those people. She was one of those kind of child genius type people who just knew how to build stuff at the age of 7 with C++ and all these different coding programs. She's won all sorts of different awards and written and composed for all sorts of different, pieces of literature. And she has built SongPot, right, which basically does two different things. It uses AI to analyze music for libraries, for music usage, so it understands music in order to be able to kind of make suggestions for discovery, for sync licensing and various other things. And it also adds value to music creators. It does not replace music creators, not by any means. It's the polar opposite of the goal of what she's trying to build, right? It's something that adds value to music creators, and she explains it, in fact, brilliantly as a new instrument, right? So to me, it felt like she's building two really different things. And then in speaking with her, it's very clear to me that actually it's kind of the same thing. When we think about music being a beautiful universal language, and it is, right? It travels all over the world to lots of different people, but that musical language, that universal language, is also a very, very complex one, and sometimes even talking from human to human in order to understand the need of what should be done in music can be lost in translation, and it can be demoralizing, right? And so I think what Tiangu has built is something that can understand the nuances of how human cognitive behavior works when it comes to creating music. That's a lot of information. She explains it very well, right? So I'm going to hand over to the interview. Take note, because I think that this is a lady that is on the rise in the global music scene. She's building something that I think is going to change the way a lot of people work at media companies and also at sync agents, and possibly even for music creators too. Here's the interview. See what you think. But anyway, so Tiangu, welcome to the Music Business Buddy. It's really good to have you here. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. I have been a huge fan of it, actually. I listened to many, many episodes, especially the ones on music supervision. There was one, that's by the owner of Catalog. I remember Frederick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Frederick.
And, and another one that just came out, I forgot the name. Oh my God.
Right. I know there's so many of them. I do every Wednesday. There's a new episode, and it's quite hard to keep up. And I'm generally about 4 weeks sort of ahead, if you like. And so I think to myself, right, if somebody asks me about this week's episode, I think, right, which one went out this week? Because that would have been what I was doing about 4 weeks ago. So.
I see.
But there's so much to keep up with, though, in this business, isn't there? And I'm thrilled that you've come on, because I am so fascinated by you, right? To be honest with you, and by your work and by what you're building. I mean, I've got so many questions for you, and I'm really excited about what you're doing. And I should start by saying this as well. Congratulations, right? Because this is a really, an exciting era of your life and of your career. with
It
the
is.
design. I mean, you're designing and launching SongPot. I mean, I think it's going to be massive. For anybody that's not yet familiar with SongPot, could you give us a kind of overview of the goals?
Yeah, the overall goals of SongPod is that we want to build AI that truly understands music, that can serve the music discovery. So, for example, you could search music by text description instead of just metadata, the title and artist, but also like audio and video, so that it can truly understand the music content and help you to find what you actually need. And this is super important for the, say, sync and in general DSP and all those platforms and companies that own a huge catalog. And then the other side of building AI that understand music is that it can really serve the creativity. So, say for musicians and producers, mm, I would like to think of AI as a sort of new instrument, because what it does literally is synthesizing sound, and so it is a synthesizer. And right now we do have companies that works on, like, say you have a text prompt and then you generate a whole song, but I think that's not really the point of creativity. And I think we could actually build AI that augments creativity by making it a new type of instrument, a sound making machine. And this is fascinating for me because in the end the goal is to the problem that we are trying to solve is to how to translate the music in your mind to the music that's to your ear. You
Yeah,
see,
yeah. That's
either discovery or creativity, but it's the same thing. It's how to get that thing out from your mind.
Wow. Do you know what? Two major problems there, right? That
Yeah,
you're working on the solution for, and it makes a lot of sense. It's very interesting. I mean, let's split them out into two different things, right? So the music
of
kind of
course.
discovery on the library side and the sync side, and then the tools for creators. But it's interesting because the second part there, as a
Yeah.
producer myself,
Hmm.
the amount of
Yeah.
times where an artist will say, I know what I want. I can't think of like how to explain it or how to articulate it
Yeah.
or how to, and like the old way would be like, right, let's think about musical language, music theory, or maybe even just
Yeah.
some adjectives to help us to get there as well. And, even that can be difficult sometimes, right? So it's like we need this kind of like almost kind of like biologically in tune thing between humans to make it work. And actually, we don't always need that. Like that can be simplified. I mean, I'm preaching to the converted here. You know this, right? That's why you're building what
Yeah.
you're building. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's come back to that bit. Let's go to the library bit because
Okay.
I speak to a lot of people at a lot of different libraries and they're all trying to do their best to make their music as discoverable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they've figured out the ways in which they can license that, but actually linking people that say music users that say, I need this music, but like, how
Yeah.
do I get there? Right. You're kind of
Mm-hmm.
working to solve that problem. So, clearance and speed are like, high priorities for like media companies that want music for television, for example, who are looking
Yes.
to license music and they've got ways that they can license it. And there's, you know, the accuracy on metadata is important and all that kind of stuff. But is that something that you noticed, right? That you are trying to cater for?
Yes, exactly. This is what we are trying to cater for. And we talk to a lot of like music supervisors and also like audio production, and people working in this industry. And I realized there's um so much trouble in finding what they need when they know already what they need. It's just the technology now, the systems that's not clever enough, let's say, to allow them to to find the things even if they already know. And with AI, the cool thing about it is that it can really like understand not just like how we previously deal with metadata. We're not constrained to that anymore. So even if you have a catalog of, like, say, poor metadata curation because there's something missing or the tagging isn't so correct or something, AI can now just describe everything for you so that you don't miss that. And also to find something adjacent to it, right? Because sometimes you try to categorize into few words, but it's so hard to actually categorize a song into just a few words. And
Yeah.
and also there are so many words that can get your music, say, lost in the sea of music. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like say you publish something, and the you have your subgenre in indie rock, but there are so many indie rock there. and
Yeah.
and then you maybe you have like 3 words to describe the emotion or something, but this is so limiting. And actually we should have a better system for this.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so let's split that into like the two categories that I can think of that I can understand, right? So one which
Sure,
is like
sure.
the metadata, right? Like sort of
Yeah.
creative metadata, genre, secondary genre, stuff like that, maybe stuff around mood. And then if we've got that there as text, and then over here there's technology now that like the DSPs use, for example, to sort of
Hmm.
do raw file analysis,
Yeah.
which kind of like we think of it as like, oh, it listens to songs, but I think really it kind of listens to elements of songs and then puts them into pattern recognition to be able to draw links between how danceable something is, or
Yeah.
how how much speechiness is
Danceable.
into it,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so if we draw a link between the first part and the second part, i.e., imagine I'm putting a song now through a distributor onto Spotify, for example, and I want to pitch it
Yep.
to, say, some sync agents as well. Then I might call it, indie rock, for example, right?
Yeah.
But then really, by the time it's analyzed, it might be like, yeah, it's kind of not really indie rock. It's kind of more like pop electro, kind of synth pop with sort of
Hmm.
guitars in there. So what I
Hmm.
said it was, and what the machinery thinks it is actually like a bit of a disalignment. And now, if the libraries are just built on the first one,
Hmm.
then presumably music users go to it and go, oh yeah, I want something that's like this, and then they type it in and they go, no, that doesn't sound like that. Like, no, you know. Um,
Exactly.
so
And everyone perceive like all these words so differently because all these words are so subjective. Say danceability. I think something danceable for one is not danceable for another.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that can be a problem in itself, actually, can't it? So is the goal for SongPot, when it comes to this particular aspect of what you're building, is the goal for this to act as a sort of filter between music users and music libraries? Will you sit in the middle of what they're doing, or whereabouts in the market do you sit there?
It can be applied for both. This is my answer because it's all linked. Music discovery for sync or for DSPs. Like in the end, you are trying to find something that suits what the user wants in a huge library.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the technology that we are building is exactly the one that's trying to solve this miscommunication problem, let's say, in the
Yeah.
current systems. And especially, for example, sometimes you could describe, of course, with words and they can be correct, but in music there are also unspoken, there are things that you cannot put in text. Right, this is why
Totally.
music is is another language. and and the cool thing about AI is that it can really like analyze the audio elements, right, and then trying to find similarity between audio themselves. So there's something, say, unspoken similarity, but we can, when you hear it, you know that they're similar, but you can't articulate so much into metadata that how is this
Yeah.
similar, right? And but the thing is, like, AI can learn this pattern and then cater to that discovery experience.
Wow, that's such an interesting term you just used there. Unspoken similarities. Like that's genius. Like that's just you've just hit across something there that's like, yeah, that's a major problem. Like every day for loads and loads of people in you know, in studios, in trailer houses, in all sorts of different places. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's an issue. So would the goal therefore be to license that software, or to make that software available on a sort of B2B level, for those companies?
Yes. Yes, this is what
Perfect.
we are trying to do. We built our own platform, and also we have the API, so that for companies that are more tech native, they could use the API to integrate this technology into their own software or platforms. And then for those that are say less tech native, right? We built the platform so that they can just upload their music on our stuff and our platform, and then we will host it, and we help to. You can share your pages, say, and then share your playlist and all this, and then people can search, but really using this very intelligent s- search um
Yeah, like a function of,
like
yeah.
a smart search system, basically.
That's
That's
amazing. That's
yeah.
oh my God. I'm just thinking of the amount of music supervisors that I've spoke to, even just on this podcast and outside of this as well, where they will literally, like, how they're building music, they're looking at so many like temp tracks and stuff that they can't license, that they want to but can't afford, and then
Mhm,
it's like, right, let's get something similar to that, and so that might then be sent off to, like, let's say an agent to go, right, or a
mhm.
publisher, and go, right, can your writers write something like this, and then they wait on it for another week, and then by then it's like, oh yeah, no, it's not quite what we meant because it's been reinterpreted or whatever, which is
Yeah,
in some ways is great because that's where the art comes from. But when it comes to media production companies, it's like that's not useful. And they run out of patience, and then they just go, "Oh, let's go over here and license this production music." Hence, why production music is in such a boom right now. But like
mhm.
you mentioned Fred earlier, Frederick Schindler, and like
Yeah,
I know what he's trying to do with all of the labels that, you know, that he's working with, and he's
mhm.
like, this is really really underserved because there's like all this like amazing back catalog from like some real great legacy indie labels, Matador, 4AD,
Yeah,
all those kind of labels. It's
yeah,
like there's music that's like kind of untapped there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, totally. I think they have a great taste in their music creation, and honestly super excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Okay, so that's one side of it.
Mhm,
And by the way, I should say this, Tiangu. So if you were only building that and just that,
mhm, mhm.
like, you do really well anyway, right? I think you'll do really well, right? So like even if it was just that, like that's like congratulations, like pat on the back for that, right? But
Thank you.
there's another element to this as well, which is the AI tools for music creators, that kind of extra instrument thing that you were talking about there. I in a recent episode, I was interviewing a gentleman by the name of Pete Ganbarg, who was president of A&R Atlantic for several years. Incredibly impressive guy, and I asked him his thoughts on like the subject of AI music creation, and he was like, he had a very interesting take. He was like, you know, it's not a problem, right? It's just another way of making music. And in the same way that other things have been, like synthesizers or samplers or drum machines, whatever it might be. And I really like that take because it makes us realize that actually, you know, it makes everything a lot more inclusive. And it also
Mhm.
means people can tap into creativity that they don't quite know how to articulate or don't know how to
Yeah,
reach to or express. So that then leads us into the second part of what you're building. Could you tell us a little
yeah.
bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Um, Actually, it's super interesting that that I have noticed this two a very polarized opinion about like AI for music creativity. That like say many of musician friends of mine, like they absolutely hate it, right? They
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they they would not even try, and and I totally understand it. Also, like because how the AI music tool today is working, and this is what we want to really change. And because like you said, like it can also be used as a sampler, as a synthesizer, as a very interesting sound making machine. And all we do in music creation is to really find the sound to express. And then if we can have a much more versatile kind of instrument, how interesting can it be for our creativity, right? Because you could be super skilled in certain instruments, like I play guitar very well and also piano, but your sound, the language of the sound is constrained to the two instruments that you know. And in a way AI can break this barrier. I'm not saying that AI would just play guitar like
Yeah.
that well. I don't think this is actually the path to go, but more like the path that how can you translate this weird other sounds that you can't articulate with all these tools that you have, like the samples, the DAWs, whatever, the synthesizer. In the end, it's quite difficult to really get there to hear something that's exactly what you hear in your mind.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, something happened yesterday to me. I was in a
Mm-hmm.
room where somebody, it was one of my students, right, where the university where I lecture at part time, and a student had played me a piece of work, and it was all MIDI, right,
Yeah.
and like she'd created this outstanding piece of music, I thought, and it was all like guitars and synths and and I said, have you thought about swapping the samples in there, right? So, because like not changing any of the MIDI data that you've used to create that, but just switching the entire thing into a
Mm-hmm.
sort of 1960 mid 60s style orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, I didn't think about that. I was like, okay, but don't be offended, I said, because like we're not changing anything you've done, but just the sounds that you selected to drive what you've created. And so we tried it, and it was
Mm-hmm.
brilliant. And it's not, hey, look at me, what a great idea. It was more like being open to going, like, what you've done
Mm-hmm.
works, but how it's
Mm-hmm.
being presented could shift to find a different
Yeah.
home, right?
Yeah.
That's not quite AI, but AI can do that without the need
I
for
can
me.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Without the need for someone like me going, have you thought about doing this? So that could be an example where that is less offensive, perhaps, to music creators that worry about being replaced, for example.
I think it shouldn't and will not replace music creators. This is really my take, because if you listen to all this generated music, like they might sound pretty real, like they sound like music, and I guess some people like it, but the more you listen to them, they all sound like the same song.
Yeah,
And and I don't I think the connection, me as a huge music fan, like the deep connection that I perceive from music is the soul of it, and the soul is in the storytelling, is in the creativity, is in also some the things that's um very personal, like with a character. And this thing, I don't think currently we could generate songs like that. And and I think like if we use AI as creativity tool, we need to put human in the very center of it, because the ideas, like no matter what you put into it, the idea is from you, from your experience, from your story. And this is something that will never be replaced, I think. And
yeah,
the taste in it, because you can generate things, but you would select what would be accepted. That yeah, like you can say I have this idea, and then AI generate this, and then you hear it, and this is nothing like what's in my mind, so you will not publish it, right? And
yeah, yeah. That makes
and
sense.
yeah, yeah, so this is really how I see, like I think the technology is really fascinating. But like before using this technology to design any tools, the intention of the tool is as important, I think.
Yeah.
Like, are we building a tool that's trying to hack hack the system? Or just for the you see?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Well,
Or
one of the descriptions that you used was, I think I read this on your website, was about creativity that can be reimagined. Is there? I know it's still early, right? But are there any insights that you can give us in regards to what the tools will look like on SongPot for music producers and creators?
Yeah, of course. We're still exploring.
Okay,
so,
fair enough. Yeah.
so I can't already tell you like specifically, but say um so one thing I have built that's pretty interesting, which is you can use chord progressions or melody together with the description of what you want to have, and then it will generate exactly like with the same melody and chords, and then try to imagine how it will sound like. So for example, you can hum something, and then
Ah.
you say, I want this in um how to say it, like
Oh wow.
classical romantic period or something,
Okay.
something that I cannot do, right? But I have this in my mind. I have this melody that I dreamt of, and I want to hear how it would sound like, and then it can generate that. But
Ooh, okay. That's interesting. Okay. Do you know what that's just made me think of? I was
uh-huh.
watching a documentary recently. I think it was on YouTube, and it was Michael Jackson in the studio working with Quincy Jones on, I think on,
Yes, I
have you
know
seen
this
that?
one.
Yeah, the Thriller
Yeah,
album.
yeah.
Oh my God, it's fascinating, isn't it? And
Yes.
it's just made me think of what you just said, because like, you know, when he had that like inane ability to be able to go dum, tsk, dum, tsk. Well, no, I won't pretend to do it,
Yes.
right? I can't do it like he could do it, but
You're
but
pretty close. You're pretty
oh
close.
well, that's very kind. And and then, like, you know, then Quincy Jones would be like reinterpreting what he can. Oh right, yeah, that bit's like chords, and like
Yeah.
that's the intro for Billie Jean, and that bit there that you just sung, that's actually like that could be a bass line, right? So let's turn that into a bass line. And so all that is that kind of similar to what you're referring to there.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
This is the goal to have that Quincy Jones
Yeah. Wow.
for you
Okay.
and me in the studio.
Yeah. Because, you know,
Yeah,
if Michael Jackson hadn't have met Quincy, right, then Thriller wouldn't have sounded the way it did. And
totally.
but not everybody, you know, can afford access to a producer like that, right? And
Yeah.
and so this is like when people talk about like an artist-centered ecosystem, I think what that actually means is artists having the same tools as the business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like having tools to the same marketing tools, the same playlist pitch tools, and the same tools to be able to go, okay, I haven't got the budget for that producer over there, but what I really need is to get this idea out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And if I hum it over here and then
Yeah.
do this and that, and then I can get what's in here on there to the world, right?
Yeah.
And that's the goal, right?
Yeah. But in the meantime, I don't think this tool will replace Quincy Jones, because Quincy Jones has this mastermind that maybe the machine can never can never achieve, right?
Yeah.
And even like I would say it's a better, say, prototyping way, right? But better way of prototyping. Like, say you can have a lot of ideas, and then you can hear them instantly, instead of like getting mad at oh, I'm trying to find this sample that should sound like this, and then I spend hours browsing the sample library. Instead of that, you could just
Ah.
you see, like to make drafts, let's say. But I think a really skilled, great producer, I mean, they do master work.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad you just said that because yeah, this is not to replace Quincy Jones. It's to be able to help the next Michael Jackson to formulate those ideas before they take it to the next Quincy.
Yeah, and actually, I have been talking constantly with musicians and producers, and after a lot of chats, I realized like one of the biggest problem in their production process is actually the communication. It's about how, like, you have something in your mind, you communicate to your producer don't get you, and and you go back and forth. But what if you could quickly prototype something that sounds similar but not quite there, right? And then you just send this as a reference, and then you could communicate much easier also.
Oh wow. Oh wow. That's okay. That's amazing. Do you know when people often say that like music is, you know, the universal language that can travel all
Yeah,
over the world, and like that's beautiful. It's amazing, but it's also a very complex language, isn't it? That can
it
be
is.
misinterpreted even between people that speak the same language.
Totally.
So yeah, I love the sound of this. Let's shine more of a light on you and your background, right? Because you have a, correct me if I've got
Sure.
this wrong, right? You've got a PhD in music information retrieval,
Yes.
and you've won multiple awards as like a very competitive programmer, and you
Thank
contributed
you.
towards various pieces of literature and books.
Mhm.
Your passion for sort of science, does it play a big part in your curiosity of how all this sits together?
Yeah, definitely. Not just limited to my curiosity for science, I guess, just curiosity for this whole world.
Good
um,
answer.
yeah, yeah, and actually, yeah, I am definitely a super geek girl, let's say. I started programming when I was 7 years old.
Really?
Yes,
7 years old?
7 years old. Yes.
Wow.
And yeah, and for a really long time I was the only person who knows how to program, let's say, C++ in my whole school. And
Wow,
and
you were that kid.
I was that weird geeky
Wow.
kid. Yeah, but in the meantime, I mean, I love music. I just, I don't know, my whole it is the biggest passion of mine. And yeah, s- I s- I remember like the first time I've been to a music festival. It was, I was 13 years old, and I was so fascinated by how it feels, how everyone just connect with each other, like gather together for the music, like really how music connects us, right? And this experience, but also Mm, I feel understood a lot of times by just listening to the music I love, you see,
Oh,
because they
wow.
are expressing something I want to express in this beautiful language of music. But I couldn't do that, but they did that, and I love it. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so
what a wonderful way of explaining it. I love that. I love that. That's terrific. I saw on your LinkedIn page that you recently
yeah,
attended ADE in
yeah.
Amsterdam. How was that? What did you learn about the EDM sector whilst you were there?
Um, in 80, actually, I didn't go to that many events because I went to mainly the panels to listen to people in the industry, how they see everything's going, and but definitely the electronic music scene was huge in Amsterdam. You just walk around and you pass by a flower shop maybe, and they're having a DJ, they're playing. It's
Yeah,
such an
yeah, yeah.
experience. Or a cafe shop, like the whole city is celebrating electronic music. It was such an energy. Yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
also I met so many like talented musicians and producers there, and we exchange on what kind of tools they would like to have, right? And they definitely gave me some very interesting feedback for SongPot, and also shaped kind of the product that we are going to ship.
Ah, very good. So it was kind of like a research mission then.
Research mission, yeah.
Okay, okay. So that's very cool because you're still in research and development, right? For the creator tools. So you're
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
okay. So you're kind of going, what do people really need? What do they have problems with? Because you're good at like fixing those problems, right? So once you know what the problems are, then you can go, okay, I know how to do that.
Yeah. For the last 7 years, well, like before I started SongPod, I was really just doing music AI research, and for many years it's a super niche topic, and actually the musician around me, they don't know about what is music information retrieval, and they didn't know that people are composing with AI. This was such a niche thing for many
Yeah,
years, and I have experienced, like, say 5 years ago, I remember I listened to a talk by a researcher working on generative music project, but when he plays what this machine generates, I didn't thought that this would go so far,
okay,
compared
okay.
to what we can hear today. And yeah, so after spending so many years, like, really digging into the tech that's behind this music AI, I want to build something that's actually useful for the industry. Not that with my understanding of this technology, because I think I yeah, there are so many cool things to do there.
Yeah. That's nice. Um, Wow, Tiangu, you are fascinating. You really are. Like, I can see exactly how useful you're going to become in the coming years to so many people in so many different sectors, actually, as well, of the music industries. What are your goals moving forward? Like, what do you want this all to look like? Sort of, I don't know, let's say 10 years from now.
10 years.
It's a long time, isn't it? But it goes fast,
It's
doesn't
a
it?
long time,
Time
yeah.
goes faster as you get older, I find. So, I mean, 10 years will fly by, but like right now, it feels like a long time, doesn't it? But like, what do you want to see going forward? Do you want to is the goal to find solutions to people's problems?
I hope in 10 years we can actually solve this problem that I described in the very beginning of this podcast, right? Like, to how to translate that sound in your mind to the sound that you can hear.
Yeah,
I hope that SongPod would play a big part in solving this problem, and I hope that we could really build something that's serving the creative community. We help the creativity with AI, right?
yeah,
I really hope, um yeah, this is the vision and the goal that I'm heading
yeah.
to,
Do
towards. Yeah.
you know what? I must share this thought with you because before I spoke to you today,
Yeah.
having had a look at your work and then hoping, like, again, thinking, I hope she can come on the podcast. I'd really like to talk to her. So I'm really glad that you have, right? Because one of the things that I was thinking when I first understood your work, I was
Mhm.
thinking, right, so you're looking at AI in regards to like optimizing it for catalog and discovery, and then AI
Mhm.
in terms of like how it can help to create music. And I was thinking, I thought to myself, that's wide. Like those are like two different areas. Actually, in talking to you, tell me if I've got this wrong. I don't think they
Mhm.
are. I think what
They are
you are,
not.
no, they're not. You're creating something that can do the thing that people can't explain, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, if you build an AI that understands the language of music well, it can do both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is how I see it. Like, it's two sides of the coin, but um, yeah, I understand. I totally understand that it looks like two different uh products, or even two different companies working for two different sectors in the music industry, but from the standpoint of the technology, if you build a AI that's powerful enough for music understanding, you can solve both.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, I'm convinced. I'm so glad that that you were cool with coming on here today and talking about this, because I'm so excited for you. Honestly, congratulations on where you're
Thank you
at.
so much. It's very kind of you, really.
Oh no, I'll tell you what's kind is what you're doing, right? Because to be quite honest, right, you are an utter brain box, right? You've got so much ability, so much cognitive ability. You're such a blessing to this world, Tiangu. You really are. And you've decided to plow all of that into making the music industry better. So when it comes to kindness, that's kindness. And thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. I really hope I could make something useful for this industry. I would love to contribute a bit.
I think you already are, and I think that you'll do it more and more as time goes by. And I'm really excited to see how it all unfolds, and to see what happens next, and to see what problems you solve, and what happiness you bring to people in their work, in their lives, and the impact that has on music consumers and fans, right? Because we're all music fans. That's how we ended up here,
are.
right?
Exactly.
That's what brought us all together, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by you and your work, and I just wish you just all the luck and all the love going forward. And thank you for contributing your time here today.
Thank you so much, Johnny.
Okay, wow, what a fascinating lady. Absolutely fascinating. She clearly has a solid understanding as to what it is that she's trying to do. And like many good businesses generally look to try and solve problems, don't they? I think if you take Tiangu's love for music and her ability to problem solve, what she's created is something that's absolutely fascinatingly useful for quite a wide range of different people. I'd be very interested to see how her product range actually evolves as well, because right now it might look like, and I said this to here in the interview to her, that, is she building two different things here? And actually, that was my concern before I spoke to her. And I no longer hold that concern, because actually what she's building is the same thing. It's the same problem. The ability to be able to understand and explain music. It's always been a problem. I can tell you, as a producer, sometimes there's an A&R and there's an artist, and one's saying this and one's saying that, and then there's me as the producer in the middle, kind of going, I think they want this, or I think that he wants that, but I don't really know. And we won't really know until we get there, until we've made it. And that is the art, and that's fun, but it's also problematic. I think what Tiangu is building kind of looks to try and problem solve things like that by being able to take a tool and take some of that subjectivity out of it, but leave the art in it. Now, that is incredibly complex to know how to do that, and how to communicate those things. But I think that she's doing it. I think she's doing it, and I think big things are ahead. So I hope you enjoyed listening to that episode. I hope you're as fascinated as I am about what happens next for SongPot, because I'm very excited about what that could, how much time it's going to save for a lot of people, and how it doesn't step on the toes, on the hearts or the minds of creators, right? If AI does that, it can be very offensive, and I'm not here to advocate that one bit, and neither is Tiangu, right? So it's about looking past that and looking at it and go, actually, this doesn't do that. This assists people, this saves time, and actually it achieves the goal of making music and making music discoverable and accessible. Okay, that's enough from me today, but I would like to revisit SongPot in the future, just to keep an eye on what's going on, because I see big things ahead. Anyway, that's enough from me today. Till next time, everybody, have a great day, and may the force be with you.